Hi, and welcome back, Freedom Warriors. And you are with us at Essential Talks, where you stay for the conversation and you leave empowered. So, today, looking at my background, you can kind of see what our topic is about: no jab, no job. And with us, we got George from Jabless Jobs. So, give us a little bit of a background about yourself, George, and kind of how you got into this and the purpose that you seen with what you're doing.
Hi, everyone. I'm George Douklias, the founder and managing director of Jabless Jobs. And first, thanks for having me. It's a real pleasure to be talking with you guys. I started Jabless Jobs as a means of finding my own job. I was in the same situation as most of the people that are using, or all of the people that are using the job board. I had restrictions coming down from my employer, and I did not like them. I didn't want to be a part of it. I was in management for the company, and not only was I going to have those restrictions placed on me, but I would have also had to enforce those restrictions on the guys I work with. I was not cool with that. So I started looking online for other forms, another option for employment. I saw some titles on Telegram that represented, finding employment for someone like me in this newly marginalized community that I'm a part of, and I couldn't find anything. Some of the job listing sites or channels or groups on Telegram, they had names that represented what I was looking for, but when I'd start looking, they were just so noisy, full of a discussion forum. And when you're looking for a job in your own community, a job that you can take a bus to, and it feels very urgent, you're not really, I certainly was not really, I didn't care about what, was happening in Australia, or what the new rules are in England, or where to find ivermectin. I just wanted to find a job I can take a bus to. So there was just so much noise, and I started coming up with a concept for how Jabless Jobs could, or how a job board could work, and what would it take to just have a clean, clear thread of jobs to scroll through to choose from, rather than having to weed through all that noise. So that was the beginning thoughts of it all. And then one morning when I was washing my face in the bathroom, the name came into my head, just Jabless Jobs, and that's when it all started. I sat down in my kitchen with my phone, and I created a group on Telegram called Jabless Jobs. Right off the hop, the few people that I invited to follow, they started posting stuff on there, and it turned into a little bit of noise. I had also shared it with a few people here in Vancouver. One of them was Nav from Safe Small Business BC, and she suggested that I turn it into a channel, so that way when we post something, it has to go through us. It has to go through me, and then I can vet it and then post it as a job posting on the site, on the channel, and then no one else can post and create all that noise. So it was a way of keeping it clean. So I dissolved the previous one, started the new one as a channel, and that was it. That was August 24th. That was when it started.
That's fantastic. I that's so great. I love hearing the beginning stories of the movement. So far, generally, like how many jobs have you kind of like seen posted on there? Are you seeing like a lot of employers kind of taking advantage of this yet? Do they know about it? How is the word getting out there?
Well, we started off just as word of mouth. I mean, that first morning, I had 3 jobs posted on there right off the hop. And a little funny point of view there was I started the channel, and then I went to work. And while I was at work, we went from 18 subscribers to 400. We went from 18 to 400 before noon. And I didn't realize, but Nav had shared the link on her Save Small Business channel. And then, the next time I looked at my phone was that we had 400 subscribers, and I realized we had something special going here, and already had some jobs posted because I'd made Nav an admin, and she was just kind of getting the ball rolling there. And And then from then on, it was just word of mouth and just letting people know on Telegram that, and remember too, like this was me trying to get jobs posted on there so I could choose one for myself. And I didn't realize, I didn't take the time to think about how this would impact so many other people, because I just was washing my face and then I had a channel. That's how it went. I didn't stop to think. And shortly after all of this started, Nav had made a post on her Instagram, and she put my name in it. And then I saw the thread underneath there of all the people posting. That was the very first time I realized the emotional response that it could have for people, and the hope that it was giving to people. And on top of that too, a bonus perk was like I got like 200 followers on Instagram, and all of them were like beautiful women here in Vancouver. It was very encouraging. It was a wonderful afternoon, and so that's very motivating to keep going. And then over time, the word just kept spreading, and then it started to dry up. Then it just started fading. And I realized we have to be proactive a little more if we want to keep it going. And so we started a outreach campaign. We started looking into different Telegram channels, Facebook groups, and Instagram accounts that had, that resembled some sort of directory of non-compliant businesses or non-discriminatory employers. And so we just started compiling these names and on a spreadsheets and sending them emails, letting them know we're here and what we can do. Within a few weeks, we had our kind of structure of integrity, our rules, how we wanted to function. We had that all in place real quick. And I say we because soon after I had a buddy helping me, and I had Nav for the first week or so, to consult with and stuff. She had her finger on the pulse a little bit better than me in the movement and stuff. So I was able to get some consultation on a few things and move forward with confidence through all that. So it was a great help. And now we've had a few booms. We're a website. We're a real company. We've incorporated federally, and we're registered provincially, and we're continually doing that emailing. We're reaching out to employers still, and the same response. They tell us they love that we're here, and if they're hiring, they'll contact us for sure. And if they're not hiring, they'll let us know they will contact us when they are, or they will tell us right away that they're hiring and ask us how they can go about posting on our job site. So it's been great. We get nothing but good responses.
Do you have an idea of ratio of people looking for work compared to or versus the amount of employers that are posting with you? And also, do you have any idea how successful you have been to date? Is there a way of tracking how many perfect matches you guys have been able to achieve?
Well, I don't have an exact number on any of those, but I can give you some general numbers. We've posted over 60 jobs, which I'm told is a very big number for the short amount of time that we've been operating. But then most of those jobs have hired more than one person and are hiring more than one person. So the last number I had was 84. That was a couple weeks ago, and my partner Melissa has then presented to me more information on some other things. So then I just can't really conclude on that number anymore. So I think we've aided in having between 80 and 100 people hired. I'm not quite ready to say over 100, but could be somewhere around there now. But comfortably, I'll say between 80 and 100 people have found employment through our job board. That includes Telegram and our current website now where we're operating.
It's fantastic.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you kind of wanted to set the record straight. Are you finding a lot of employers on the same side of history as we are, or are you finding a bit mix on that? Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I'm finding a lot of employers that are on the same side of history as us. Not all of them are hiring right away. Some of them are just hairdressers or real estate agents, and some of them are restaurant owners. Some of them are factory production workers. They own factories, and there's all sorts of different sectors that we've been representing. I haven't found an employer who's certainly not on the same side of history as us, but there's been a lot that have not been comfortable, announcing that publicly. And I knew that going in. Right in the first week, we developed a plan called the privacy policy, or what were we calling it back then? Privacy from the public option. So you can post anonymously with us, and that still stands. The people need to know, like, we're just out here to connect people with employment. We don't need employers to be activists. So we give them an opportunity to find staff while not having to post their name publicly. We don't know. Like, I've noticed that there's a lot of different activity from province to province. People are a little more timid in some other provinces as compared to British Columbia. So everyone's got a bit of a different COVID culture, if I can use that term.
And how many provinces are you accommodating at the moment?
We just started breaking into the Maritimes. I think it's easier to say we just got a job posting the other day for Yukon. So we don't have anything for Northwest Territories or Nunavut. And then there's the Maritime provinces and Quebec. So we don't have anything for PEI, Newfoundland. We do have a Nova Scotia, I believe. I'm losing track a little bit now. And then I'm looking to connect with someone who's bilingual so we can start making a presence in Quebec as well. So most of our activity is British Columbia, Ontario, and we have a lot of activity that comes and goes in the prairies.
It's awesome. I'm really excited to hear about breaking into the Maritime provinces, because I really think that they're on just the upper end of insanities, like just with the announcement just recently with New Brunswick being able to block people from going to grocery stores with a pass. I'm like, what the hell? And so so that's
crazy.
Yes, so it's really good to be able to see that. Are you finding that there is a consistency of the types of jobs that are posted? Like, are you finding it's mostly like kind of healthcare jobs, or is it really just all sorts?
The only sector I believe that we have not posted a job for is aviation. We haven't posted a helicopter pilot job or a aircraft repairman job or something like that. That's what I've been noticing. But we've done almost every other sector of employment. We've done oil patch. We've done driving jobs. We've done service industry. We've done, so I can't say there's one consistent thing. And I've gotten resumes from people of all sectors as well. And we even do have a helicopter pilot looking for a job. So if anyone out there's got a non-discriminatory helicopter pilot job available, we got a guy for you. But yeah, we've had almost every sector that I can think of. Mining, we've done it all. Like, it's blown my mind.
Now, are you finding that you have to get a hold of employers? Are you doing a lot of cold calls, or are you finding that employers are starting to reach out to you? How is this expanding for you, and the amount of effort you have to put in?
Oh yeah, that can be our bottleneck, is reaching out to employers. Recently, we've had a lot of media attention in the recent weeks, so employers are starting to come forward to us a little more often. And then because we have such a niche market of job seekers, they do really great when they post with us. So we'll often have them coming back. We got one employer out of Ontario right now who wants to stop their account with Indeed, and or I shouldn't plug that other job board. They want to stop their account with Indeed because it's costing them loads of money, and just use us. So they were asking if they can have some sort of subscription based that includes boosting their ad with them. So we've come up with a model to offer employers different options for any long term posting, because every employer has different needs. So we're starting to come up with different offers for them and different options for them. But yeah, we're having a lot of return employers coming back because they just have more openings, and they get responses right away when we post with them. When they post with us, they get responses right away. We have continued our outreach campaign, but we're shifting it a little bit and trying to reach people. And I've just started contacting influencers on various social media platforms to see if they can promote some of our services there. So we are shifting our outreach a little bit, and we are still contacting employers directly, but not as much because it's kind of a bottleneck to have to do that. And we think we're just gonna try a few different tactics, see about advertising on different programs and such.
Do you have, I know you guys have a small team right now. It's yourself, Melissa, and I believe someone behind the scenes. I think you said you have about 2,000 hits an hour as of right now. Do you foresee yourself hiring someone, or do you guys have a group of people that are just volunteering?
Hello.
Oh, there we go. Got you back.
Yeah, I watched you guys all freeze, and then your screens went black. Are we
Oh,
good?
did you hear her question?
I heard something about a small team, and then
Ye-
you guys cut out. So
I think, yeah, I think I heard you say you have 2,000 hits an hour as of right now with Jabless Jobs. Do you foresee yourself hiring, or do you have a team of volunteers right now?
Well, we were getting about 2,000 hits an hour shortly after the Rebel story ran. That's tapered out a little bit. There was a lot of people who were very curious, and possibly not even employers or employees, potential employees. So I think that was just a lot of activity from people that weren't necessarily needing our service. What's left now is somewhere between 6,000 to 10,000 hits a day. Is what we've been doing in the last few days. So it changes on the weekends and that sort of thing. And we're going to try and keep the team small. I think we're far more effective this way. We just added one more person who's an employment specialist, and her name's Amy, and she's going to be doing our resume building service. So if you were to go to our website and see that you want a job but you haven't had a resume, you don't have a resume or haven't made one in a long time, you can use our resume building service, and it will go to a wonderful woman named Amy who will make that. And she's brand new with us. We haven't even had a team meeting with her. I've just been having conversations on the phone. So we are expanding when we need to, but I'm going to do my best to keep the team small because I feel we're far more effective that way. And I can comment on that a little bit if you guys like, why I feel that way.
Oh, please do.
Yes.
Okay, this is where I get into my cultural history. I'm Greek, and I look to my ancestors for lessons once in a while. And in this case, it's Alexander the Great. He always won every single battle because he had the smallest army. And we are in a information war right now. And I noticed when around September up until mid-October, we were using a lot of volunteers, and we had up to 6 at one time for a while. So it was our core team of 3 plus 6 volunteers. So we were a team of 9, and that was the period of time where we got nothing done. All of us just had nothing to do but manage volunteers who were very motivated and I'm sure had the best of intentions, but with all due respect, they did nothing. They needed us constantly to remind them what we needed. They needed us to just constantly look over their work, and we weren't getting anything done. And as they started to taper off, I decided we weren't going to look for more. And I turned to the team and I said, we're doing everything. and they dropped their jaws. They looked quite shocked. But that was my theory, was like, we're going to be able to do a lot more. We're a lot more capable than we believe we are. And we're going to just plow through. Let's make a list. What do we got to do? Let's just plow through what's most urgent. And that's how we did it. Now we got a whiteboard on the wall over here, and we just keep track of what needs to be done. And since mid-October till now, we've had the most progress in what we're doing. And it's clear that it's working. We're far more effective with a smaller team. And I want to keep it as small as possible for as long as possible, but there's some things just fall too much on certain people. So that's why I decided we needed more services that have to do with employment, and I decided to bring in an extra person to help out with that, and also to build a working relationship with someone new, so we can maybe scale her into doing more for us in the future as we continue to grow. So that's my plan. That's my theory as to why we do that. We're far more effective that way. It's way easier to manage, and people are starting to learn their strengths. And we're choosing a lane. We've chosen a lane of employment, and we're staying in our lane. And then we have this term we say to each other. It's like, now we have our lanes within our lanes. So there's certain things that I do, there's certain things Melissa does, and then there's certain things that Steve does, and then there's that new thing that Amy's doing. And we're all just staying in our departments until we need help with each other and from each other, and then we'll overlap a little bit. But that's the most effective way we've structured Jabless Jobs yet, and we're going to keep it going.
Have you gotten any kind of pushback against what you're doing at all?
Almost nothing. I was waiting right off the hop. I was waiting for some sort of attack. I had a bit of a troll on Facebook, which is a guy from Toronto I knew from Winnipeg years ago in the 90s, which is really bizarre. But yeah, I've had like no trolls, no real hate messages at all. Really, it's been amazing. I've had nothing but support. People come to us with their hearts on their sleeves. The emails that I get, I mean, I won't share them, directly, but I sometimes wish that someone could be sitting next to me reading these emails, because it's just so full of support, encouragement, and emotional, hope that people are realizing, like, we're giving people hope. And it's just been nothing but an outpouring of people expressing that. It's been amazing. A little interesting story of something that played out today, and I don't know if I could call it a troll, but I really didn't like what she was doing. Someone from the mainstream media started contacting people who were posting, employers who have been posting publicly on our job board. And that just played out today. In fact, like about a half hour before we started this podcast, I just spoke with another employer who had posted on our job board, who was giving me the heads up. But I got proactive on that. I really did not like this reporter from Global News in Toronto, cold calling employers and asking them why they're posting on our job board, digging for a statement and such. So I got a call from I got an email from one employer telling me about it earlier today. And I asked him how he felt about it. We had a talk about it over the phone. And then I decided, asked him for her number, and I decided to call her and be proactive on it and just say, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Ask me the questions. Don't be calling them, And so we had a conversation, and I recorded it too. We're going to release it in a little while. I let her know we're recording it. I just like, hey, we're recording this phone call. Do you have a problem with that? She said no. So I'm like, okay, let's go. So I think that was our worst troll yet, and we'll see how that plays out.
I love it. You just like flipped it on her. That was fantastic.
Yeah, because of the conversations that have been going on with people, we've got all of our talking points in place. Because so many people are interested in what we're doing, friends, colleagues, and people I'm talking with in the movement. There's so many things that are being said that I can draw from and learn from and apply to Jabless Jobs, and it's really important to keep growing in that way. And it was the founder of Ezra Wellness who I heard the other day, and I hope she doesn't mind me saying this. Her name is Svetlana. I heard her say, and I'm paraphrasing, I can't quote her, but I want to give her credit for this statement. And she said that we are forming a new society, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm not quoting her exactly, but we're forming a new and parallel society while having to continually negotiate with the old one. Right? So when Melissa, my partner, says to me, George, I think we should be on LinkedIn, and then I said that statement from Svetlana and said, okay, if we're going to go on LinkedIn, then we're going to do it on our terms, but we have to be present on the old system because we're constantly going to be negotiating with it. So I sat back and I thought after I had the phone call with the business owner, and I was like, I'm going to have to address this, and I want to do it on my terms. I'm not going to wait for her to contact me and have these questions in my head. So I got a hold of him and said, hey, man, can I have the phone number? Do you care? And he's like, no, please, go for it. So I called her, and I just took control on my terms. And that's the way to do it. We have to constantly negotiate with the old system while we're creating a new one for ourselves.
Yep, that's very well said, for sure.
Yeah. I can't take credit for it. I just can only respond for it. Only like react to it and only use it. So
I've seen a few statements lately of people talking about parallel societies and stuff like that. So it was actually, I have a subscription to the Epoch Times, and there's an article about that, just talking about how whenever there is a group of like-minded people where there's a demand, there's going to become a supply, because if demand comes high enough, it's just, you're going to have someone with the mindset that's like, well, why don't we do something about this? So exactly your case, really, even though it came from a personal need for something, and even the first day you saw the need for it is absolutely there. It speaks for itself. And so it's inevitable to have a parallel society because of human behavior. If you're going to exclude people in a way that they are basically, you're removing their supply, there will become a new supply in a way that suits them.
yeah, and I want to encourage people to find ways to fulfill the need for the supply in all the other departments of our lives that are being affected. There's been so many people that have reached out to me over the months since the end of August when I started this, wanting to partner with Jabless Jobs, wanting to host our links on their site, and almost like so many of them are trying to do too many things, and they're not doing anything as a result. So anyone who's listening to this in the movement who has an idea, if that idea has already taken shape and is happening somewhere else, I encourage you to go get behind that idea and stick to it, and rather than starting another one that could be competition or clash in some way. What we need is the muscle behind these lanes to power the movement forward on all these different lanes and all these different departments of our lives that are being affected. And so I'd really advise against people trying to do too many things. If you're succeeding at it, great, but we're not going to want to partner with you if you're trying to do everything. If you're going to do one thing and do it great, then we're going to want to partner with you, and we're going to want to connect our lanes together and then form together like a super highway that will just sort of plow on through all this misinformation that the mainstream narrative is trying to shove down our throats. I'm through trying to talk to people and convince them something that I believe. The best way I believe to be effective is to just provide the services, to give people the confidence for, in my situation, the confidence for when they have to be confronted by their employer on what their choices are, on what are they going to do. Are they going to make the same choices as their employer, or are they going to feel confident enough to go forward in going independent and seeking out a new employer who suits their ethics, which is what we've been doing for people. When people find out about us, they have confidence, they have hope, and that really has a huge influence on their choices and their decisions when it comes to their current employer and the ultimatums they're being faced with. And we need to be able to provide that in all the different departments of our lives that are being affected. So I'd love to see a rental accommodations option out there for people. We've recently partnered with a woman out of Ottawa who started a dating site. It's called Sovereign Singles, and we're gonna be partnering with them. And I'm very proud to say that we're partnering with Ezra Wellness and Canada Health Alliance. They are just exactly what I've been looking for, because I've had no answers for a lot of these healthcare workers that have been emailing me, but now I do. Now I got something to tell them. And it's not just strengthening the movement, but it's strengthening other parts of the move. It's not just, strengthening the individuals and giving confidence to individuals when they're making their choices, but it's also strengthening, my point of view. Like, I feel a lot more confident knowing that someone else is out there taking care of another department. I'm not on my own anymore. It's a real motivator. So I just encourage people to pick a lane and stay in it. Otherwise, we won't be effective.
And that's a very well put point. I couldn't agree with you more. I've been working with multiple groups trying to get communities coming together and working together and finding what the community needs. And through the few communities that I'm working with very, very closely, this is what we've been finding is there's these gaps, right? So quite a few of them are starting to lose their jobs. Now, what do we do, right? And then we have individuals like yourself that are filling that gap. So if everybody keeps getting into their lane and sticking to it, we're going to be able to fulfill each and every gap within a community as
right.
the communities start to come together and create that parallel to the old system. So this is exactly what we need. These are the building blocks that we're missing, and it's starting to come together. And it's quite a phenomenon, because without anyone telling anyone else, this has literally started going across our entire country, and we're watching it start across the world as well. So my hat's off to you for recognizing that. And I'm going to be able to utilize your service and pass it along to make sure the communities that I'm working with have the knowledge of what you're doing and have that in their back pocket, so to speak.
Yeah, and Jamie, if you ever want to have a talk, even just outside of this podcast, I'm available. I'll share my model with people and how we've structured and how we plan on scaling. I mean, I still have stuff to learn as well. So conversing with people about what I'm doing is always a learning experience for me too. So I'm perfectly happy with sharing with people our model and our structure, with the hopes that it can, have an impact on someone else's goals. It's certainly important. We clearly are being effective. So what we're doing is working. Now it's just a matter of making it better and making it last.
Exactly. And we will be having conversation outside of this podcast.
Yeah,
for sure.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So,
George,
just
can you share?
sorry.
Can you share particulars with the resume builder that you have going on, the pricing for postings, and job searches and everything like that you have on the website?
Yeah. First, please know that this isn't a get-rich scam for me. This was unsustainable as a volunteer organization, and I'm perfectly fine with fighting communism with capitalism. What we've done is the three of us that are doing this are all employed by Jabless Jobs now. I'm a business owner now. So it has given me confidence in where I stand, and I can choose my own schedule, which is a wonderful thing as a business owner. And we've given ourselves a job by providing employment for other people. So I certainly want to let people know that we're not trying to gouge anybody, but we do have to charge for our services. That said, our resume building service is the cheapest on the internet. We have a one-size-fits-all pricing. It's $50 to go to our job board, our resume builder and have a resume built. Be very detailed. If you're gonna fill out the form there, be very detailed, and there's no limit in how many words you can use. But Amy is a professional, and she'll summarize and she'll clean it up for you and make it into a professional resume, and you'll have your resume back within 2 business days. So be very detailed, and don't hold back. Just tell her everything, and she'll make you a professional resume. Now we don't have a difference from, a general resume, a professional resume, or an executive resume. A lot of the other job boards out there, or the resume building services online, they scale up in prices for all of that. We have no intentions of doing that. We just needed some way of being able to sustain it. So we figured out with the conversations with me and Amy that we could possibly pull this off for $50. So for $50, and then you get a professional resume made for you within 2 business days. Now that is a result. It's not something we just thought up and said, well, let's try this. That's a result of so many people telling me that they haven't had to make a resume in 15 years. They've never had to make a resume. Most of our audience, most of our job seekers are people that were perfectly fine in their careers and would have been for the rest of their working life if all this madness hadn't started. And so they never had to make a resume. These are the people who were working. These are the people who were not on EI or the CERB. These are the people who need to keep working. So there's an urgency for them to make a professional resume. And a lot of people were sending us resumes that, I'm no professional resume maker, but I was like, this could be better. Like, it's sloppy, it's ugly. So we started seeing all these bad resumes, and we started seeing the need for it. So we wanted to scale, but we also wanted to provide a service that's needed and stay in our lane of employment. So anything else that we add to our website, any other pay windows that are going to be there, they're going to be in support of employment or business, that sort of thing. We're staying in our lane with that. So really happy that we got the resume building service, and people are already using it. They found it on their own. We didn't even promote it yet. People just started finding it and using it, which is great.
Excellent. Yeah, myself, I wouldn't know how to do a resume at this moment, and I'm so out of whack, right? But that is a great service. So as soon as you mentioned that at the beginning, I was like, wow, that's a key component. Again, like you said, how many people have been locked in a career 5, 10, 15, 20 years? All of a sudden, you're having to go back and remember how to create this resume. And it's something that I believe so many people overlook, but it's one of the key elements of getting you that job. I know as an employer and being management and all that kind of stuff, that you get sloppy resumes, and they're usually file 13, right? So right off the hop. So it's a key component. So glad you added that to your service.
Yeah. We're going to continue adding more to our service, to our list of services. But we need to make sure, that we do it right, and there's a demand for it and that sort of stuff. My buddy Steve's our IT guy. I don't want to be throwing him stuff that we're not going to use. And so we're going to be very careful as we move forward. But we're really pleased to be able to present that offer to people, because it's really going to help. And we needed to offer more to people. We know that. So, on that note too, like a real heartbreaking thing. It was, you can call it a victory, but it was heartbreaking too. It was in mid-September. I facilitated a nurse in finding a job as a landscaper. What kind of world are we in when that's going on? And that was heartbreaking. But I was glad, because she was a single mom and she hadn't worked in a very long time. But she was fit, and she hadn't had to look for a job in a very long time. And that was when I started realizing, like, there's some people that are in, transitioning careers. There's people that are just haven't made a resume in a long time, and we got to find ways to support them. So again, I'm really pleased to see groups like Ezra Wellness and Canada Health Alliance coming along, because now we can have a place to utilize this experience of healthcare that these people have, so we don't keep losing doctors and nurses and stuff. So I'm really encouraging Canada Health Alliance and Ezra Wellness to keep moving forward so we can have a place for all these people, so Canada doesn't lose all these doctors and nurses and healthcare workers.
That's really good. It's really sad when we have such like a shortage of nurses and they find out that they're being put to work as, landscapers. I mean, it's fantastic that they have a job and that they can maybe transition into something that might make them more satisfied given the current climate. But the fact that we have these shortages, that there's not enough workers and stuff like that, and they're making it worse and worse, it's a bittersweet kind of a thing.
Yeah, and then there's the other side of it. I'm getting I occasionally I'm getting emails from people who are not in healthcare, but they're looking for a doctor that's non-biased. I was cleaning windows in August, and 3 weeks later, I'm answering questions to people about how they can find a doctor. When a young woman is 25 years old and looking to a previous window washer to find a doctor, what's going on? What's happening with that? What scenario did I find myself in? That was one of those moments where I just had to stop working that day and going, what the heck is happening? We have a problem with that. So, I was able to compartmentalize a lot of the emails I get, and I can, push them aside a little bit. I hear them, I read them all. I hear everyone's story. I know that every single resume that we have represents someone's entire life's hope. Someone's put all their hope in sending us their resume. I understand that. We're not going to be able to service all of them. We're not going to be able to staff all of them. But that said, when I get the emails that are related to health, those ones affect me. Those are the ones where I have to stop what I'm doing for a while and digest the situation. My therapy is washing dishes. I purposely don't do the dishes the night before, so that way if I get an email like that, I can get up and go to the kitchen and just stand there washing dishes and just do something different, listen to the water run. But those are the ones that really get to me, those healthcare ones. So I just can't say it enough. I'm just so overjoyed to hear about groups like Ezra Wellness and Canada Health Alliance, and then the fact that we're partnering, we're gonna group together and support each other and moving forward is just feels like a gift from God. Now I have something to tell people. It feels great.
I'm really glad that you're plugging both of those and that you're working with them. Are there, just before we wrap up, was there anything else that you wanted to mention to our viewers, to inform them about, or just get them excited for, anything like that?
Yeah, there's so much. I want to, at the risk of sounding a little preachy, I want to talk a little bit about the information war that's going on right now, and how we're going to win this. And if I can speak on Alexander the Great a little bit, again, he not only did he win every battle by having the smallest army, because he had the smallest army, but he also was a puppet master in his battles. He would allow his opponent to believe that they were going to be the victor. Every single time he got into a battle with an army that was larger than him, because he was the smallest army, a smaller army, he had the upper hand in leading the opponent into believing that they were going to be the victor of the battle. And so we don't, fast forward 2,300 years to today, we don't have to start convincing people that they're wrong and we're right. We don't have to start telling people to change their mind. We're not going to change this situation on a dime. What we have to do is just leave them alone. Let them keep going and let them believe that what they're doing is right. And then double down on everything that we're doing, because every single time that we employ somebody, or even every single time that an employee of another company finds us and feels hope, those are moments of victory. Every single time Ezra Wellness is able to help someone with their health concerns, that's another victory in this information battle. Every single time that someone finds an apartment that they don't have to show a QR code to rent, that is another victory in this battle. So this is why I say, let them believe that they're winning. All we have to do is coordinate a prolonged period of many of these small victories, and that's how we're going to turn this thing around. We just have to create these networking communities, figure out it, monetize them if you must, but figure out how to have a prolonged period of these many small victories, and allow the opponent to believe that they're winning in the information war. Because eventually, as more mandates come forward, there's going to be more people coming to us for support, and as that table starts to turn, that's another victory. That's a whole series of victories that are coming up. So not only do we have to be organized as a business, but we got to be ready for these people from when they come to us. And that's why we don't use terms like things that are banned to say on YouTube. But that's why we don't need people to change politically. We don't want them to come to Jabless Jobs and have to choose a political side. We don't get political. We just stick to employment, and that's us staying in our lane. So that way we don't scare away the newly awake. We want people to just be fully comfortable with our services and provide an avenue to fulfill that one department of our lives. That's what we're doing. And that's the plug I wanted to, share here is, another Alexander the Great.
That's great. So that's kind of something that I've been talking or mentioning to people in a lot of the communities that I'm working with is there's nothing that anyone is doing that is insignificant, because some people will think, oh, I'm only doing a small thing, and others believe that someone else is doing a grand thing, and there is no minuscule
That's right.
thing that you're doing. And I let them know it's a death by 1,000 cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every one of those cuts count. And
Yeah.
it's exactly what you said. All these small victories are those little cuts, death by 1,000 cuts. And that's where we got to kind of pool ourselves all together and start to really, really hammer this home. And companies like yourself that are coming up, finding those needs that we need to get us over the next hurdles, this is how we're going to do it. So my hat's off to you again.
Thank you.
And I would like to mention to everybody out there, we are part of We Are All Essential. It's a business organization, so you can feel free to join up. You can register. You don't have to go public. You can be private. Learn the different avenues of standing your ground, whether you want to go legal, common law. If you don't have a business, you can join as volunteers. But we can see how this will help our whole viewer point, and even We Are Essential groups. Some of us within the network are having trouble finding employees. So your skill set is something that we all need at this moment. And it's amazing because he said this all came to you while you were washing your face. Some of the best ideas have come in the bathroom, right? Whether you're in the shower, washing your face, wherever it is. But I've had some great ideas that have really helped my business succeed in the shower. It's kind of an interesting place. The bathroom is a vortex where it all comes together for you. So
I've had to pinch myself. It almost feels like it landed on me rather than me starting it, because I wasn't thinking about it. I just had the name in my head. I was looking for it, and I wasn't trying to be sitting here with you guys 3-4 months later. I was just trying to find a job, and I wasn't thinking about starting a business. I was thinking about finding a job. And the whole situation just landed on me. It felt like I was chosen or something. It felt like I keep pinching myself going, where the heck did that come from? I just felt like, and then as things played out, we just felt ready to take it on. And then, I want to say one more thing too. People have been calling me a freedom fighter. I'm not crazy about that term. I don't like that fighting thing.
me neither.
So let's be peacemakers. Let's just do that, because there's a big bridge to gap that we gotta fulfill. We got a hole between us and a whole other part of our fellow Canadians. Let's try and bridge that gap, by just providing a service and being kind, listening to people, and and fulfilling these services to these various departments of our lives as we move forward. That's going to make peace. And a byproduct of making that peace will be, returning to a time of freedom.
Well, I couldn't have said it better myself. I was wrapping it up, but I'm going to end it on that note because you just said it perfectly. So we will see everybody again next time.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Thanks, George.
Thanks for being here, George.
Thank you so much.